A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Cam Edwards, your host, coming to you once again from the 2020 Shooting, Hunting, Outdoor Trade Show, SHOT Show in Las Vegas, Nevada. My guest today, Yehuda Remer, is with us, the Pew Pew Jew. How are you, man?
I'm good, Cam. How are you?
I'm excellent. I appreciate you spending a couple minutes with me.
Yeah, of course.
And, we've got a lot to talk about in terms of what you've been up to, because you now have, you got 5 books out?
5 books out, yep.
That's incredible.
Yeah, it's been a very fun journey. My 2 latest books to come out this past year was 27 Words, which is a breakdown of the 27 words of the Second Amendment for children, and 105 Explosive Gun Jokes, which is like the ultimate corny dad joke book that you just cringe to read, but you still love them anyways.
Right? Yeah. That's awesome. What made you decide that this was something that because I met you, I think, the first year that you were at an NRA annual meeting.
Yes.
And you were really just kind of dipping your toe into the water of Second Amendment activism. What was it that made you decide, you know what, I want to get off the sidelines and I want to get into the arena here?
I bought my first gun. I was married, out of the home, 2 kids, and my parents found out that I had a gun, and they went ballistic, like full-on Chernobyl nuclear meltdown. And I decided, that response is incredibly naive, especially when I'm able to educate my children. So I went to the Eddie Eagle program, and which does a great job, but all it does is talk about what to do if you find the gun somewhere it's not supposed to be. So I decided to go buy a book for my children that I can sit down and read to them about gun safety, and shocked that there was nothing out there. So I wrote a book not even thinking I'd ever be published, and 5 years later, after a lot of painstaking tears, I got my first book published.
And then when did you decide, okay, I want to kind of amp this up, and I want to develop a brand? Because the Pew Pew Jew, I mean, you've got your camo yarmulke right there. This is now a brand identity for you.
It is, yeah. So about 2 years ago, I don't even remember who it was. I was on the phone with somebody in the industry getting advice, because again, I was still 10 months in and no idea what anything was still. And I was on the phone with somebody, and he's like, there's no one doing 2A advocacy in the Orthodox Jewish world. He goes, you're kind of like the Pew Pew Jew. And it kind of like light bulb moment.
Right.
And I called my illustrator. I'm like, man, I need a logo that has a gun, a Star of David, and the words the Pew Pew Jew in one. And like 2 days later, he's like, what do you think of this? I'm like, holy cow. How in God's name did you figure that out in 2 days? And I ran with it. And now it's become my brand, my identity. I have a website selling over 70 t-shirts, pro-gun, pro-Second Amendment, mugs, bumper stickers, hats, and all of that money goes towards writing more children's books and educating.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because, you did start out certainly with that mindset of I want to help kids know about the Second Amendment, about gun safety. But, over the past couple of years, we've really seen this rise in anti-Semitic attacks around the country. And I know that you are speaking out, I think, very forthrightly about the fact that you believe more Jews need to be armed.
Yeah. Falling into the 2A advocacy kind of just happened. And obviously, I will be honest, thanks to you, because you had me on your show like a million times. And anytime there was an attack or some kind of event, you always message me, hey, you want to come on today to talk about it? And I kind of fell into the advocacy. Although I'm still obviously very into education, kind of the advocacy kind of took over as part of the education. And yeah, I'm a very firm believer that Jews must embrace the Second Amendment, not just buy a gun, because unfortunately a lot of people, not just Jews, but in general, they buy a gun and they have this magic talisman mentality where, I have a gun now, so now I'm infallible, I'm good, everything's good.
Yeah.
But the problem is, I'm sure everyone watching is very well aware of, if you do not train with that firearm, you become more of a detriment than you are a help. So
right.
I'm trying now to encourage Jews to not just buy guns, but also go out and train. And I have meetings with people about, especially in the New York area, about getting together, learning instruction, and learning the laws, not just, hey, I'm carrying a gun and now I can do what I want.
Yeah. And we've seen too, I think in New York particularly, with some of these anti-Semitic attacks, including the machete attack that happened, just a couple of months ago. The immediate response, it was amazing. So you had that attack, and then I think it was the very next day, or maybe it was 2 days later, was the attack in White Settlement, Texas.
Yeah.
That was stopped by Jack Wilson.
Yep.
And I think really, when you compare those two incidents and you contrast those two incidents, as I think a lot of people did in their minds, I think many of us did come to that, inescapable conclusion of, hey, you know what? If people can fight back, then the violence stops sooner. People's lives are saved. And it's, for us, it's common sense.
Yeah.
But there is this mindset out there that was on display of, no, fighting back is bad.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, imagine people could get hurt if there are armed citizens. Well, people are getting hurt when there are no armed citizens to stop these attacks.
Yeah, there will, unfortunately, in the world we live in, collateral damage is a reality. And if you can, like the church shooting, right? Unfortunately, 2 members of the church lost their lives. But how many more would have lost their lives if Jack Wilson didn't take that shot?
Yeah.
And same thing with the machete attacks. One of the guys there, one of the Jewish fellows there, he grabbed the table and started blocking and trying to get the guy out. Now, that's great, but the guy's still armed. You're armed with a table, right? A little unfair advantage there. Your finger gets hit, you're done, you're dead. And obviously we all know, God made man, but Sam Cole made them equal, right? So a gun really is an equalizer. And it's something that I tried very hard to push upon the Jewish community, that 80 years ago, we all put our faith in government, and look what happened. You get 6 million Jews killed. We live in a country now that, although we're fighting tooth and nail for our Second Amendment rights, we still have it. And we can still utilize it to make sure that we are defended, we are protected. And that's something that I'm very passionate about. And not just the Jews. I want people to understand, I am a Second Amendment advocate first and foremost, and then I educate Jews on their Second Amendment rights.
Sure.
So I'm for the Second Amendment for everybody.
Yeah.
But as an Orthodox Jew, I kind of taking a page out of Madge Thuré's book.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that that's fair. I always say self-defense is a human right. We have a constitutional right of the people, right, to keep and bear arms. But at the same time, I think we as gun owners, we can't afford to ignore the fact that, a lot of gun owners, perhaps the majority of gun owners, look a lot like me, right? Guys in their 40s with beards and, maybe some ball caps, a little bit of belly fat. We need to be, I think, evangelical in our approach to outreach to other Americans. That look, this is your right too. It's not a right of the right. It's not a right of the whites. It is a right of the people that shall not be infringed. And unfortunately, I think there are a lot of politicians. There's certainly a lot of media outlets out there that are, actively discouraging people from exercising their rights. Oh, you don't want to do that. Oh, the police are going to come after you. Oh my gosh, And so we do have a lot of work, I think, to do, not only in terms of motivating people to think more about their Second Amendment rights, but to change the actual culture itself and to stop the gun shaming, to stop the shaming of people who are exercising their right to keep and bear arms.
I agree with you, but at the same time, one of the big issues is, like you said, all these media outlets out there. Do you think that all they covered with the Virginia rally was, wow, it was peaceful? Which is obviously a big thing, but did you see the diversity there?
Right.
No one's covering the diversity.
No.
Only people in the industry are showing that image of the 3 black men with the AR-15s peacefully protesting. Mm-hmm. You're not. That's what the media is not showing you, and that's where the issue is. Is that look, we're sitting in the media room right now. You can look around the room and see an incredibly diverse crowd here. But you don't see CNN here.
Right.
You don't see MSNBC. You don't see Fox News here reporting on, wow, the biggest gun show. How many people come here? 100,000 people?
I think it's something close to 60,000.
60,000?
Yeah.
And I've been here 3 years. I've yet to hear of any incidents where 60,000 people internationally are coming to the world's largest gun show, and there are nothing. There's no incidents whatsoever.
Right.
Why would anyone report that?
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, what you get is the opposite. I think that, for instance, there was a shooting at the Fashion Center Mall here in Las Vegas Tuesday evening, and it looked like it was sort of a fight among teenagers. Somebody pulled a gun, fired into a crowd. 2 people were injured. But the immediate reaction, online anyway, was, oh my gosh, there's an active shooter at the mall in Las Vegas. Thankfully, that was not the case. But the media, I think, was salivating. They were so ready to write this story of, well, the gun industry meets in Las Vegas, this attack happens. And you're right. Their angle is not our angle.
Right.
Right? The media, they thrive on chaos. They thrive on conflict. And honestly, if you're a gun owner, you thrive on de-escalation. If you carry a gun for self-defense, you don't want to fight. You don't want chaos. You don't want conflict. You're doing everything you can to avoid that conflict.
Exactly.
And so, it's interesting because I've been thinking more and more about this, that the media really is working at cross purposes from what gun owners are trying to do and the way we live our lives, quite frankly.
Yeah. I mean, they say, I don't remember who said it, but carrying a gun is an act of love, right? We're not carrying a gun because we think we're cool. We're not carrying a gun because we have itchy trigger fingers and want to shoot somebody. We're carrying a gun because it's an act of love. We love ourselves, we love our family, we love our neighbors, and we want to make sure people are safe. And when I think the response time nationally of law enforcement is like 10 minutes.
Yeah, something like 9 to 12. I think, yeah.
Right. Well, that's an eternity when most gun battles are like 8 seconds long.
Right.
9 minutes is an eternity. So we carry a gun as an act of love, not because we're looking for revolution or not because we're looking to kill people. If unfortunately someone comes to injure us or take our lives and we take somebody's life instead, that person's life, well, I mean, I hate to say he had it coming. Like, you just don't mess with people's families. You don't mess with other people's lives.
And I tried to actually, and by the way, I really appreciate you saying that because I 100% agree. And when Governor Northam was talking about the hate that was driving this gathering, I actually wrote about the fact that, no, I'm going to Lobby Day out of love.
Right.
I'm not coming with hate in my heart. I love my state. I love the people that I've seen supporting the Second Amendment sanctuary movement. I love my family, and I want to protect them. And that is why I and thousands of other Virginians actually, showed up at the Capitol.
Yeah, and it was fantastic. I mean, I thought I read there was about 22,000 people there. And what's amazing is that, again, just like SHOT Show, 22,000 people stuffed in this little area in, 4 hours? The whole thing was about 4 hours long?
For about 8 to 12, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And not only was there no incident, I mean, you look at the aftermath after everyone left, there was not a paper on the ground.
Right.
I mean, but we're the bad guys, you know? And it just boggles the mind that it really is a matter of control. That it's not about taking away your guns. They want to control the people, nothing else.
Talking again with our friend Yehuda Remer, the Pew Pew Jew, out here at SHOT Show. So have you had a chance to walk the aisles, see any of the stuff on display?
So yesterday was meetings day.
Okay.
Today is also meetings day. Hopefully tomorrow I'll be able to go. That's what I usually do. The first 2 days for me are all networking meetings, helping promote my brand and partnering up with people. And then the last day is like, okay, I heard PSA came out with something new, or the Glock 44, and I'll go around and check out things that I've seen that I want to hold. Right. But the first 2 days are networking, and I have to say, yesterday was a very big day, and I can't announce anything, but I'm hoping it could be big. So
I'm really, really glad to hear that.
Yeah.
We look forward to continuing to follow you, and hopefully we'll get to share the good news here before long. But
sounds good.
Yehuda, thank you so much for spending some time with me, man.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Good to see you here.
too.
And by the way, where can folks find you online?
Yeah, they can find me at thepewpewjew.com, or if they want to follow me on social media, at the Pew Pew Jew.
Easy enough. Yehuda Remer, the Pew Pew Jew, joining us here from SHOT Show. Appreciate it.
Yep.
And we're going to have more, by the way, from SHOT Show 2020 coming up tomorrow and Friday here on Bearing Arms Cam & Company, so make sure you stay tuned for that. I am about to head out to the floor, and I've got a couple of meetings as well, but doing some interviews, and we'll be taking lots of pictures, so make sure that you are also checking out bearingarms.com for complete coverage from the 2020 SHOT Show. Thanks so much for tuning in today. We'll see you tomorrow with another edition of Bearing Arms Cam & Company.